Previously on the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. Spend time in NXT doing things. The Bunny would also be a freelancer, so that will put her opposite of her tag team partner. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, March 4th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, with respect to the luchadors of the mall, Jeremy Peros. Welcome, one and all. Everybody's good to be back. It's good to have you back once again, and we've got ourselves a nice little jam-packed show for you today. As always, you can check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and on Twitter, the 215. After WrestleMania, there will be a Patreon, and we will have so much more content for this channel. But today's show, well, AEW Revolution. It's tomorrow night, or tonight if you listen to this, or yesterday if you're listening to this on Monday. But we're going to go over the show, preview the matches, look at the stories, and see how we got there. And of course, I'm going to obviously make my predictions. Hopefully they haven't changed since last night when I was on Friday Night Raw. But for now, you know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. Alright, so I won't be before you very long in the news tip. First things first, if you saw Monday Night Raw, of course you're watching Monday Night Raw. Lita and Becky Lynch are your new women's tag team champions, defeating Damage Control. And from what we're hearing, there are going to be some twists and some turns for the storyline going up to WrestleMania. We got about 4 weeks left. So what's going to happen? I don't think Becky and Lita will be defending the championships at WrestleMania. I just don't believe that. I don't know. But there's apparently going to be some twists and some turns going along for the storyline, and I'm ready. And a glaring red flag that some people are saying that Vince McMahon might be influencing creative. Brock versus Omos at WrestleMania. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't seem prudent. What the hell? That's all I'm saying, folks. That's all I'm saying. That's all I am saying. The WWE has locked down multiple names for some trademarks for former superstars and current superstars. So they filed trademarks on Ezekiel Jackson, Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre. Ziggler is the one that's weird. That's the one that doesn't make sense. He hasn't wrestled a match since 2015. Just throwing that out. The Monday Night Raw ratings this past week on the February 27th episode dropped ever so slightly. They pulled in 1.7 million viewers with a .51 and an 18-49 demo. That is down from the previous week, as last week did a little over 2 million viewers with a .56 and the 18-49 demo. A lot of Ring of Honor stars or independent wrestlers that canceled bookings are frustrated because they canceled bookings and then weren't used for the tapings. They had tapings, they had bookings lined up for the indie shows, and they did get paid more, but they could have made more on the indies. You know what I mean? So I get the frustration, upset, and they taped a lot for Ring of Honor. We're going to be covering that a little bit later in the show. Dynamite viewership plummeted from the previous week. This was the go-home show for Revolution. Wednesday show did 833,000 viewers with a .27 and 18:49 demo. That is down from last week's show that did a little over 1 million with a .35 and 18:49 demo. But I can understand the drop because last week Tony Khan was promising a major announcement. We have some updates on some AEW star injuries. Chris Statlander, who tore her ACL, is still healing, getting ready for a return. She was backstage. She's been backstage at a couple shows. More specifically, she was backstage at the Lexington show, and she was backstage at the Toronto show. So that is good. See that she's out and about. Can't wait for her to return because we definitely miss her. Sticking with the women's division, Layla Hirsch is recovering also from a torn ACL. Her recovery is taking a little bit more slower. She had her knee surgery back in May. She was on the come up as well. Scorpio Sky, who is officially healed from his injury, they just have nothing for him. There's nothing in creative for him at the moment, but I can see him making a comeback probably in the next couple months or so, right before we get to Double or Nothing. Hikaru Shida, she's also out with an injured finger, but she is back in Japan. She worked the Jericho Cruise, but she's barely wrestled this year. She worked the Jericho Cruise earlier in the year, but she's also healing from an injury. As for the Raw after WrestleMania, you know we are expecting some NXT call-ups. Number one name on the list is Cameron Grimes, who's pretty much disappeared from NXT. We're just waiting for him to get called up at this moment. Other people that I would very much love to see being called up are Alba Fire, probably the Creed brothers. I think that those are the main two. I would love to see Nathan Frazier called up as well, so I can get the match between him and Seth freaking Rollins. AEW, if you saw this past week on Dynamite, they brought in Kommander for the Face of the Revolution ladder match. They won it. El Hijo de Vikingo, who's one of the top wrestlers on the planet, but they brought in Kommander, and he was also on the WWE's radar, so he got a chance to make a name for himself. And some shocking news, we come to find out earlier this year that Sonya Deville was arrested for a gun possession. Looked like she owned it legally, but as you know, she went through a terrifying experience with a stalker and a home invasion, so it makes sense for her to own a gun. This was back in Atlantic City. It looks like, it looks like she's good. There's no jail time. There's no charges really being filed, but she's chilling. Always been a fan of Sonya Deville, and she recently got engaged. And the SmackDown ratings this past Friday pulled in 2.2 million viewers with a 0.5 in the 18-49 demo. That's ever so slightly down from the 2.3 million he did last week with a 0.6 in the 18-49 demo. And lastly, Ronda Rousey, as you saw, has an arm injury. Is it kayfabe? Is it real? Just gotta watch the show and find out. But it will not hamper her from wrestling at WrestleMania, because she for sure will be wrestling at WrestleMania this year for the Women's Tag Team Championships. But that is the news, and we shall be right back. Alright, so I'm going to do my very best as to not have the weekend review be long. Why? Well, with Ring of Honor debuting their newest episode, the start of a new era, I'm going to be covering Ring of Honor. So that's added in, and it's also a 2-hour show. I don't think it needs to be a 2-hour show. A 1-hour show would have been perfect, but that's okay. Monday Night Raw, we had another solid build to WrestleMania with some really good character growth. So we open up the show with Solo and Jimmy, and they say the Bloodline, we're good, we're good, all right, and they're confronted by the Street Profits, which leads to a match, which leads to the Bloodline winning the match. Now they plan to attack Montez after the match, but Kevin Owens comes in, stops him, lays out Solo, lays out Jimmy, and then leaves. So on Raw they have a Kevin Owens problem. On SmackDown they have a Sami Zayn problem. We have the MVP Lounge to set up the Brock Lesnar versus Omos match, and Brock is fun. He's great here. We know how this is going to end. MVP settles in the match. They toast. He accidentally spits Brock's whiskey, moonshine, into his face. Brock lays out the MVP with an F5. It was never going to go any other way. Cody Rhodes defeated Chad Gable in a very, very good match, and he says he'll be at SmackDown. Baron Corbin once again has another backstage interview interrupted. This time they wanted to interview Kevin Owens, and KO states that he's still taking out the Bloodline. He needs no man's help. Asuka defeated Carmella in a nice little solid match. I mean, you know I'm a fan of Carmella. You know I'm a fan of Asuka. Bianca was on commentary, and Carmella pushes Asuka into Bianca after the match. Candice LeRae defeated Piper Niven in a quick 2-minute match. Nikki Cross was ringside with Candice, even though Candice didn't really know or notice this match really didn't need to happen, because we've really been doing a good job building up Piper Niven. We had a Miz TV segment with The Miz, who announces that his anniversary gift from his wife was that he is the host of WrestleMania this year. Gives something to Miz to do, especially with it being in Hollywood. Seth Rollins comes out and says he wants Logan Paul's phone number. Miz declined. Seth lays out The Miz with the curb stomp, calls Logan Paul. Logan Paul will be on Raw next week. Bobby Lashley took out Elias with the greatest of ease, and he's not playing games with Bray Wyatt, and he'll be on SmackDown. Adam Pearce is still avoiding Chelsea Green, making excuses, and then Carmella says she wants Bianca next week, and then her and Chelsea Green kind of hit it off. So I'm expecting a tag team from these two, which I am very, very, very much looking forward to. Johnny Gargano defeated Otis. Otis asked for a match after being enticed by Maxine of the Maximum Male Models. And the wheel turns, and in our main event, Becky Lynch and Lita defeated Damage Control, Kai and Sky, to win the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships with a little help from a one Miss Trish Stratus. Like I said, twist and turns, twist and turns. Raw gets fist over on Dynamite. We had our Revolution Fallout show. We opened up the show. Orange Cassidy defending the All Atlantic Championship against Big Bill Morrissey, and Orange Cassidy retains in a really solid match. We got to get a good look at Big Bill. It says, yeah, this man's got a good thing going on. I believe Orange Cassidy has the most title defenses in AEW history. We had Hangman Page and Mox promos. Mox cut his right after his match last week against Evil Uno and just bleeding like a sieve. The House of Black take out the Elite, who were making their entrances for something, but this was just to set up the tag team title match at Revolution. Powerhouse Hobbs wins the Revolution ladder match, the face of the Revolution ladder match, earning himself a TNT title shot. The other participants in this match were Kommander, who is new, AR Fox, Sammy Guevara, Konosuke, Takeshita. Am I missing anybody? Takeshita, and that's it. Action Andretti. And Ortiz and Eddie Kingston were supposed to be in this match, but they just fought their way to the back and we're out of this match. This match has some crazy, crazy spots, some really dangerous spots as well. They really need to go all out like that. Wardlow comes out to confront Samoa Joe, who was on commentary, and they kind of get into a little bit. Wardlow takes out the security, and Wardlow's like, "Yo, not Wardlow." Hobbs is like, "I got nothing but time. Give me the one-on-one match. Give me the triple threat match. It's big, mighty men slapping man meat." Chris Jericho defeated Peter Avalon. Avalon put in a great fight, but it was too much. The Ocho was too much, and Ricky Starks ran out to fight Jericho, but the JAS just absolutely laid him out. We had an in-ring segment with Christian, and he was just going off, spitting hot fire on Jungle Boy. And then on the screen, Jungle Boy is at a graveyard, and he's digging a grave, and it's Christian's grave. So yeah, this made me think that we were going to get a Buried Alive match at Revolution, but it was announced as a no holds bar match, which I hate no holds bar matches. But then it was changed to a final burial match. So I guess we're getting a Buried Alive match. Eddie Kingston quit AEW. Hook defeated Matt Hardy, which means now Hook gets to face Stokely Hathaway. Riho defeated Tony Storm in a fun little match. This was also the build up to the title match at Revolution. Danhausen and Orange Cassidy replaced the Best Friends in the Casino Tag Team Battle Royal, and they won, advancing to Revolution for the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team title match. And in the main event segment, Daniel Bryan just absolutely kills it on the mic, obliterating MJF, and MJF was speechless. It's crazy to think that the world champion had nothing to say on the go-home show for a pay-per-view. Dynamite gets a fist over an Impact. The Bullet Club, they worked themselves into a tag team title match later in the evening. Rich Swann is ready for a fight, taking all comers. Speedball Mike Bailey defeated the debuting Shane Haste, who was formerly known as Shane Thorne. This was a good match. Kenny King defeated Kevin Knight, and his good push continues. Steve Maclin is coming for Josh Alexander in the World Championship. Bully Ray starts us some shit with Gujar. Giselle Shaw wants Mickie James, so she's calling her shot. Looks like Giselle Shaw is the next challenger for Mickie James Women's Championship. Trey Miguel versus PCO ended in a no contest after Eddie Edwards hit PCO with the shovel. So we're continuing this PCO Eddie Edwards shooting. In the main event, the Bullet Club, Chris Bay and Ace Austin defeat the Motor City Machine Guns, winning the Impact World Tag Team Championships. Then, ladies and germs, Ring of Honor. This is the first show of a new era. I don't think it needed to be 2 hours. That's just me, but they taped a lot of matches here. So we open up with kind of the heart and soul and someone who's really closely affiliated with Ring of Honor. Mark Briscoe defeated Slim J, and I like the use of they're not the Trustbusters, the Trustbusters here. And what I really enjoy is that they are prevalent throughout the show, throughout the taping, and now we can take some of these people that have been on Dark and elevate them more on Ring of Honor. And it looks like the Trustbusters are going to get a really good elevation here in Ring of Honor. The Kingdom defeated the new team of Sean Dean and Charlie Bravo, who are known as the Infantry. Zack Sabre Jr. retained the IWGP TV Championship against Blake Christian. Mark Sterling continues his feud with Takeshita as he wants Takeshita to come and join him, get represented by him. Christopher Daniels defeated Rohit Raju. Now listen, Christopher Daniels is another person who is closely affiliated with Ring of Honor. I don't think this match needs to happen. Takeshita defeated Josh Woods. Josh Woods is another person that's closely affiliated with Ring of Honor. The Embassy, our Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions, won a squash match. Ari Daivari defeated Metalik, formerly Grand Metalik, after some interference from Mark Sterling and Slim J. Madison Rain and Sky Blue defeated the Renegade Twins. And in a shocking turn of events, Ring of Honor had a second women's match, something that AEW Dynamite has almost never. I think they've had one show ever where there's been 2 women's matches. One. On the first Ring of Honor show, there's been 2 women's matches. Willow Nightingale defeated Lady Frost, and she was interviewed in the ring, I believe, by Riccaboni, and she would like a women's championship match. And Athena, our gracious champion, grants her that match. And in the main event, Claudio Castagnoli retains the Ring of Honor World Championship against A.R. Fox in a fantastic match. Eddie Kingston comes out, tells Claudio, listen, I told Mox I wouldn't beat your ass in AEW. We ain't in AEW, dog. And I want the World Championship. We're finally playing up on his history more. This was fun. It was a solid show. Nothing great. Nothing truly great to write home about. But it was great to have Ring of Honor back. Over on SmackDown, a conversation between Cody and Roman highlights the show. So we open up with Roman Reigns coming out with the bloodline as Roman Jimmy, Solo, and Paul Heyman. He has Washington, D.C. acknowledgement. Cody comes out. Cody gets the bloodline to leave. And then Cody and Roman have some words. And the basis of this promo, looks like the basis of this storyline would be that apparently Dusty Rhodes loved Roman more than he loved Cody. Roman also did a really good Dusty Rhodes impression here. But round one goes to Roman because Cody didn't have any clapbacks. We'll see what happens next week. Rhea Ripley tapped out Liv Morgan with an inverted cloverleaf. This was a fun little match. Both women looked really, really good here. And Rhea made a little girl cry in the front row. Rhea Ripley, please never, ever change. Roman Reigns tells Jimmy that if he doesn't get Jay in line, then they're going to have a problem. So Jimmy leaves. Santos Escobar confronts Dom, saying, yo, the disrespect to not only your father, but the luchador way is just wrong. So they have a match. Dom wins after Rhea Ripley gets involved and gives Santos a riptide on the outside. Rhea Ripley makes me feel all just warm in my whole body. Dom rips Ray's mask, the same mask that Santos was given to by Ray, and then he cheap shots Ray after the match. Sammy in a social media video says that the bloodline is crumbling and he won't stop until they fall. Drew McIntyre wants the Intercontinental Championship. He wants a match versus Gunther at WrestleMania. Shane comes out like, yo, why would you do that to me, dog? You know how much this means to me. And then LA Knight comes out, and then Kofi and Karrion Kross. So they all want the Aussie title. Next week there will be a fatal five-way five-way dance with the winner taking on I believe Gunther at WrestleMania. Shayna basically defeated Tegan Nox. This was quick. This match did not need to happen. This match just didn't need to happen. They should have just been like a quick segment and should have given more time to Rhea versus Liv. Bobby Lashley calls out Bray Wyatt. Uncle Howdy attacks Bobby, but Bobby gets up and drops him with the Spine Buster, goes for a spear. The lights cut out, and Uncle Howdy is gone. Jimmy returns and tells Roman that Jay said to leave him alone. Period. And Roman tells Jimmy, listen, go out there with Solo, make sure he defeats Sami Zayn, and then when he leaves, Roman tells Paul, the wise man, that if Jay isn't back in the bloodline next week, he's blaming Jimmy. And in the main event, Solo Sikoa defeated Sami Zayn. They try to take him out of the match, but Sammy gets the last laugh and the upper hand and escapes once again. And Jimmy looks dejected because he knows he's going to get his shit pushed in next week. Over on Rampage, the Blackpool Combat Club won a fatal 4-way tag match against Top Flight, also open in the Dark Order, but we're also building up this feud between the BCC and the Dark Order, which I very much like. Maybe some rumbles of a heel turn for the BCC. Riho defeated Emi Sakura in a fantastic match. That's twice as we did that Riho's wrestles. Good to have her back. Powerhouse Hobbs squashes Serpentico and says the next chapter in the book of Hobbs is him winning gold. Don Callis also wants to work with Konosuke Takeshita. Yeah, this boy's got some suitors. Keith Lee and Dustin Rhodes in the main event defeated the Mogul Affiliates in a nice little match, but I don't think this feud is even close to being over because we still need to get to Swerve versus Keith Lee. And as the show is closing, Ricky Starks attacks Chris Jericho, who was on commentary, and that's how we end the show. Our matches of the week: from Raw, Cody Rhodes versus Chad Gable. From Dynamite, the Face of the Revolution ladder match, Eddie Kingston, Ortiz, Action Andretti, Sammy Guevara, Powerhouse Hobbs, Konosuke Takeshita, Kommander, and AR Fox. And not only that, with this match, we highlighted Takeshita losing, and he was frustrated, and they made note to show that. So keep your eye on Takeshita. From Impact, Speedball Mike Bailey versus Shane Haste. Also from Impact, the Motor City Machine Guns versus the Bullet Club for the Impact World Tag Team Championships. From Ring of Honor, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Blake Christian for the IWGP TV Championship. From Ring of Honor, also Claudio Castagnoli versus AR Fox for the Ring of Honor World Championship. And from Rampage, Riho versus Emi Sakura in a teacher versus student match, with Riho being the student, Emi Sakura being the teacher. I just found out Riho's only 25. She's got a bright future. And our star of the week, I'm giving it to a promotion. Ring of Honor is back, baby. Ring of Honor is back. That's all that matters. But that's our week in review, and we shall be right back. Here we are, my friends. AEW Revolution. AEW only runs 4 shows a year. They run 4 pay-per-views a year, and this is one of the 4. So, preview, predictions. That's what we're gonna do. That's how we do it. But we gotta take a look at last year's show. How did last year's show round out? So on the pre-show, in an ironic story match that we had, because both women are injured, Layla Hirsch defeated Chris Statlander. Hook defeated QT Marshall by submission, and the House of Black defeated Pac, Penta Ascoro, and Eric Redbeard. So that's a solid, like, all 3 of those matches could be on the main card. Even the Hook QT Marshall match would be a cool down match, but the House of Black versus Pac, Penta, and Eric Redbeard would be a main card match. I believe Rey Fenix was injured at this point. The opening match was Eddie Kingston defeating Chris Jericho by submission. I remember this is the start of everything we got with the JAS and the Blackpool Combat Club in a 3-way triple threat match for the AEW World Tag Team Champions. Our champions at the time, the Jurassic Express, retained against Red Dragon, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, and the Young Bucks. This was a really, really good match. Wardlow defeated Christian Cage, Keith Lee, Orange Cassidy, and Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks in the Face of the Revolution ladder match to earn himself a future TNT Championship match. And this was fun. It was a fun match. I wanted Hobbs or Ricky to win this match, but just look at where all these men are just a year later. Were they elevated? Were they downgraded? I would like to think that everybody here involved, Christian got hurt, but everybody here involved were elevated. Even Wardlow, whose TNT title reign wasn't that great. I would have much preferred to not have Christian, OC, and Ricky Starks in this match, because it looks like we were going to get just a big mighty men slapping man meat ladder match. I would have really, 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 really loved that. Jade Cargill defeated Ty Conti, retaining the TBS Championship. CM Punk defeated MJF, Lord, in a dog collar match. And this was a fantastic match. It was a great, great match, but man, my have times changed. Dr. Britt Baker defeated Thunder Rosa, retaining the AEW Women's World Championship. This was a weak match because, well, Britt Baker's a weak wrestler. Jon Moxley defeated Bryan Danielson in a singles match by a pinfall. This match went 20 minutes. It didn't need to go 20 minutes. I think this is when William Regal showed up. Yes, William Regal showed up, and we got the BCC in a crazy as hell match. Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, and Sting defeated the Andrade Hardy family off of the team of Andrade, Matt Hardy, and Isaiah Cassidy in a 6-man tornado tag match. Isaiah Cassidy. So I guess Mark Quinn was still hurt at this point. This is weird, but still. Well, again, what a year. A year. It's crazy. And in the main event, Hangman Adam Page retained the AEW World Championship against Adam Cole, baby. I totally forgot that was the main event. I genuinely forgot that was the main event. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. But over onto this year's card, we have currently 8 matches on the main card, 1 match on the pre-show. I'm not sure if we're going to get any more matches announced for the pre-show. Let me check real quick. No news? No, nothing. Okay. No news of any matches being added to the pre-show so far. But on the pre-show, the first match was this was announced on Rampage. We have the team of the Trustbusters, Ari Daivari. I'm sorry, not the Trustbusters. The team of Ari Daivari and the Varsity Athletes, Josh Woods and Tony Nese, taking on Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Brothers. This is a match just to get the crowd going, get them started. And this really only stems from Mark Sterling and Josh Woods' history with Mark Briscoe. And Mark has some backup now with the Lucha Brothers. As for the winner of this match, it's obviously going to be Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Brothers. I don't think Mark Briscoe might ever lose a match for like the next year. I'm just throwing that out there, ladies and gentlemen. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. So on to the main card. I'm just going to read these in the order that I have them in front of my face. We have the final burial match, which I believe will be a buried alive match between Christian Cage and Jungle Boy Jack Perry. And this all stems from Christian Cage just turning on Jungle Boy and just really shitting on Jungle Boy so much, just calling him everything except a child of God. This was it was kind of crazy just how hard in the paint that Christian went in on Jungle Boy. But who wins this match? See, some of the other matches on this card are very obvious of who's going to win. And the question is, do I think they can drag this out? Can they drag this out for maybe 2 more weeks? I believe the next TV special is the St. Patrick's Day Slam. Jungle Boy did defeat Luchasaurus already, but I think he lost to Christian. And we're on that tip of giving Jungle Boy a singles run, maybe even winning the TNT Championship this year, which could very well happen. So with all of that, I'm going to go with Jungle Boy to win this match. This joint doesn't need to go 20 minutes. It really doesn't need to go 20 minutes. This joint 12 minutes, and let them just fight. Let them just beat the holy hell out of each other. Next up, we've got Chris Jericho versus Ricky Starks with the JAS banned from ringside. And this is fun. This is one of the, I want to say, 2 matches on the show that have like actual story. Ricky defeated Jericho one time already, and Jericho can't really let that slide. He just can't let it go. And it's been all about him embarrassing Ricky Starks. So Jericho losing to Ricky, Jericho losing to Action Andretti, who's been kind of a partner and a backup for Ricky Starks. And then it's led us all to this. So we have Jericho and Ricky feud, but we still got Action Andretti in the background, along with Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara. They aren't done with each other. As for this match, I made a prediction, I believe it was either earlier this year or late last year, that I think Ricky Starks is going to end the year as world champion. I truly, genuinely believe that. With that being said, I'm not going back on that. I think Ricky Starks defeats Chris Jericho here. I think this will be a fine match. Again, this match doesn't need to go long. These matches don't need to go long because we have an Iron Man match on the same card as well. But this is also one of the matches that 10, 12 minutes, let there be a couple shenanigans. Even though the JAS is banned from ringside, That doesn't mean somebody else might not show up. But give me Ricky Starks getting the W here and continue to climb that ladder and go for the gold. Next match. This match has no story to it. None at all. None whatsoever. The Elite defending the AEW World Trios Championships against the House of Black. And the only reason we're getting this match is because right now the House of Black are truly the only viable contenders. You could always make a case for the Dark Order, for the BCC, the Mogul affiliates. The AEW is not hurting for trios teams, but this is the fantasy book fan match that we all want. This match will go long. That's for damn sure. That I know. Why? Because Kenny Omega and Young Buck matches always go long. If we look at last year, the Young Bucks, they were in that tag team triple threat title match. That joint went 18 minutes. This match is going at least 18 to 20 minutes. And it's going to be fantastic. And I want the star of the show here to be Brody King and Buddy Matthews so they can truly show these folks what they're made of. With that being said, now the Amazing Spider-Cam said yesterday that he thinks the Elite are winning just to push these belts a little bit more. I disagree. I think the House of Black are winning. I truly think the House of Black are winning and coming out of this match. Because the only question is who would be the first face team to face in probably the Man of the Dark Order. But I like the House of Black to win this match. And this match has the potential to steal the show. Be ready, ladies and gentlemen. Our next match is a triple threat match for the AEW Women's World Championship with the champion Jamie Hayter defending against Saraya and Ruby Soho. So like I said on Friday night, you're out of much preferred Toni Storm here over Saraya. But Saraya's got to wrestle. And this match is just a means to an end for the freelancers versus the original storyline that we have going on. Why Ruby Soho is caught up in the middle, even though she would be a freelancer, go and check out Howard's Wrestling Podcast, episode 112, last week's show, where I fantasy booked this match leading up to the Women's War Games, Blood and Guts match. That's all I'm saying. Go and check that episode out. But listen, there's no question, without a shadow of a doubt, Jamie Hayter's retaining here. I think this match will be very, very good. Question is, how will Saraya look? She's had 2 more matches since she's defeated Britt Baker. But Britt will be at ringside. Tony will definitely be at ringside. I can't see them taking the championships off of Jamie Hayter. But this might be more of a not really a match. Like, there's going to be a match, but this is more just to move the story forward. So take Jamie Hayter here to win. Hayter gang. Haters gonna hate. Next match, we have the Texas Death Match. Jon Moxley, Hangman, Adam Page. And here is another match that could steal the show. This match has story. These are 2 prideful men. And this is the 4th match, right? This is the 4th match in a feud because in the 3rd match, Moxley won, but he won with like a roll up, and neither man was satisfied with that. They weren't satisfied with how the match ended, with how they won. Therefore, we have a Texas Death Match, and I believe Hangman has won all of his Texas Death Matches. So the real question is, who's winning? Because these 2 are going to beat the holy hell out of each other. There will be blood, because what is a Jon Moxley match without blood? And what I think is we'll get a replay of Moxley Danielson from last year. And by that, I mean that after they're done beating up on each other, it'll be a show of respect. Like, okay, I get it. I feel you. As for the winner, I got Hangman winning this just because Moxley has been trying to go on vacation for like 6 months, but he's got to carry AEW. And he needs this win more than Mox. Mox rarely loses. He just rarely loses. So I like Hangman to win here, not only just to win here, but to be the next challenger for the AEW World Championship, no matter if MJF or Bryan Danielson wins. If you look at the totality of the AEW roster, only Hangman Page and Adam Cole, they're the only two men right now who seem like legitimate challengers. So take Hangman, Adam Page to win here, sign of respect, and we move on to the TNT Championship. Samoa Joe versus Wardlow. Our champion Samoa Joe defending against a returning Wardlow. Listen, it does not matter who wins here because they're losing to Powerhouse Hobbs on Wednesday. It's that simple. They're losing to Powerhouse Hobbs. Plain and simple. This match doesn't need to go long. This is our Hoss fight. Big mighty men slapping man meat. Yeah, I said it. Question is, who gives you more heat when they face Powerhouse Hobbs on Wednesday? So here's my thing. With Ring of Honor now being back, I like Samoa Joe to lose this match. I like Samoa Joe to lose this match just so he can do the TNT champions, the TV championship stuff over on Ring of Honor. So take Wardlow to win this match, giving us our second title change of the evening. And yeah. Next up, Fatal 4-Way match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship with the Guns, our champions, defending against the Acclaimed, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. If you thought the JAS, Jericho Ricky Starks match would have some shenanigans, even the Triple Threat women's match, this match, this is our comedy match of the evening. Why is it a comedy match of the evening? Because these men know what their roles are. They know how to put on a good show. They know how to have fun, and I don't blame them for it. This will be very, very fun. But I also like the Guns to retain here, just because I think they're going to have a solid reign with FTR returning to take the titles off of them. It just makes the most sense. So this will be fun, especially with Danhausen, Jay Lethal, and the Acclaimed and the Guns. Like, this is going to be a really, really fun match. This might even be our cool down match, like right before the main event. And our main event will be MJF defending the AEW World Championship against Bryan Danielson in a 60-minute Iron Man match. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So, since we have this match, we didn't have the Face of the Revolution ladder match, but here we are. Now, when you say Iron Man match, Bryan Danielson, they're like, yeah, well, it's Bryan Danielson. He has the immediate and obvious advantage because he's Bryan freaking Danielson. He's the GOAT. So now it's all about elevation and how will this match play out? Will it be slow? Will it be quick? Will we get a blowout? Think about this. We rarely ever have blowouts in Iron Man matches. Like, somebody doesn't get blown out 5 falls to 1. That never happens. Everything is always close or we go into overtime. You know MJF is going to have some tricks up his sleeve. You know he's going to do some dirty, grimy stuff. I can see him immediately making himself go down 2 falls to nothing just to go and get 2 quick falls. But now Danielson is weak. It's a sound strategy. It's a very, very sound strategy. But this is also MJF's second title defense, I believe, with the first one being against Ricky Starks. He's not losing here. MJF is just not losing this match. So now it's a matter of what transpires in the middle. That's what we truly have to ask ourselves. So I like MJF to win, not in a blowout, but I expect a lot of falls. I expect something like 5 falls to 4. You know what I mean? Danielson's going to help guide MJF along, because like Danielson does this, so we can see if MJF is up to the task with his cardio, with his skills. What exactly will he do? But take MJF to win this. I'll tell you this, he won't tap out Danielson. I highly doubt Bryan Danielson is going to be tapping out at all during this match. But a 60-minute Iron Man match, strap in and fuck with your seatbelts. But once again, let's go over the predictions one more time. From the pre-show, I have Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Brothers defeating Ari Daivari and the Varsity Athletes, Jungle Boy defeating Christian Cage, Ricky Starks defeating Chris Jericho, the House of Black defeating the Elite to win the AEW Trios Championships, Jamie Hayter retaining the Women's Championship defeating Saraya and Ruby Soho, Hangman Adam Page defeating Jon Moxley in a Texas Death Match, Wardlow defeating Samoa Joe for the TNT Championship, the Guns retaining the AEW World Tag Team Championships over the Acclaimed, Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, and Orange Cassidy Danhausen, and MJF retaining the AEW World Championship over Bryan Danielson. I'm going to say 5 falls to 4 and a 60-minute Iron Man match. Yeah. Yes. So that is AEW Revolution. That is our show. Next week, we'll be looking at WrestleMania Rewind and why they should have won. This is going to be great. I'm going to do some solid research. I think I'll go back I'm going to exclude Booker T and Triple H, okay? So we're going to go WrestleMania 20 up until now. I'm going to pick out why certain people should have won. That's what we're going to do. I can't keep beating a dead horse with Booker T and Triple H. But again, that is our show. Don't forget to check me out on the socials. Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube. Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram. The 215 on Twitter. Be ready for the Patreon after WrestleMania. And as always, Xia Li, Shotzi Blackheart, Willow Nightingale, and Gigi Dolan. Holla at you, boy.